Welcome everybody to the inaugural kickoff meeting of the European Network for Psychological Anthropology. So what this platform could be probably is going to be discussed within the next hour and a half. But particularly I think we're after facilitating dialogues within and beyond Europe, an institutionalization of collaboration and exchange, intellectual collaborations, but also engaging in public discourses on topics like mental illnesses, mental health, suffering, and so forth, and also in teaching. So probably also exchanging curricula, because we are rather limited, I think, in exchanging our syllabi, in kind of talking to each other and trying to learn from each other.
I suspect that the emergence of a self-described group of psychological anthropologists in the first decades of the 21st century, again, so this idea of the adoption of this label, right, the formation of a network, in the first decades of the 21st century in Europe, is also a response to historical circumstances. Some of these developments are certainly like those of the United States, as we all must cope with the unfolding of global capitalism, both in its configuration of global sites of commodity production and global commodity markets. But other circumstances seem to me to be unique to the European context. I think that these circumstances in the European scene, whatever they may be, would need to be considered carefully by members of the network as you choose your paths in the construction of European psychological anthropology.
One place to start would be, I think, to recognize that psychiatric anthropology has been traditionally dominated by psychiatrists, by medical doctors, and thus by people often invested for understandable reasons in what I would call the clinician's concern, which is often subtly underpinned by a deep commitment to the role of medicine in treating mental illness, a deep commitment or determination to convert medical colleagues to one's way of thinking, and a concerted belief that, with proper reform, psychiatry should and will, as Arthur Kleiman recently implied, survive as a robust and significant field.
I think that we should stay where we are, but that now and then we should make forays into the field of psychology on their terms. We should definitely continue to, as it says in the Roundtable's background text, I quote, illuminate historically and socio-culturally situated concepts of self, personhood, and what it means to be human, end of quote. But we should also proactively reach out to psychology by adopting some of their discourse and doing some anthropological proselytizing. In this way, we can engage in an interdisciplinary discussion of on psychology's own turf.
I also truly hope that with the onset with the network, we will find strategies, pragmatic ones, hopefully or maybe, to make sure that a critical psychological anthropology will be heard in European societies and in their respective healthcare policies. And I would really try to work at making others and other disciplines aware of the fact that anthropologists, or the category of the anthropologist, should be included in the list of helping professionals.
So this is one way I imagine the ENPA can move forward, is by strengthening collaboration with fellow psychological anthropologists in non-European contexts, and to pay more attention and make transparent the chain of epistemic collaborations we go through. It's necessary to have this network to foster dialogue and cooperation among the European Society of Psychological Anthropologists, but also to encourage growth of interest in anthropologically derived psychological insights among scholars and practitioners in the various contexts we work in.
So it might really be in our interest to establish some working groups around topical interests, around and learning more about what our different national trajectories have been around issues like culture and human development, global mental health, intersectionality and intersubjectivity, methods that are represented by many of us in this room. So where are we close enough that a conversation could really maybe help us broaden our horizons and our thinking? And where are we maybe able to develop new directions and new ideas where to go? Importantly, as Victoria mentioned, not restricted to North America or European anthropologists, but really looking more broadly.